Day of the Crows. The engines on the island of Sodor all love to help the farmers at harvest time. They deliver supplies to help the farmers' animals. They also deliver straw for the animals to sleep on, food to keep them from getting hungry, and sometimes the roofs need repairs, so timber is needed to fix the roofs. But the one thing the engines don't like when they go to farms is crows. The crows try to eat the farmer's seeds that have been planted. The engines try their best to help, but it often doesn't work. One day, Belle was delivering a train of straw to Farmer McColl's farm. She felt very happy to be helping out.
Farmer McColl's animals will be pleased with this straw,
she said happily. Then she heard a strange sound. Belle was puzzled. Then she looked up into the sky. She gasped by what she saw. There in the sky were a pack of crows. They were flying ahead of her. Belle didn't like the crows at all. "They're heading for Farmer McColl's field," said her driver. This made Belle cross.
"We must get there quickly,"
she puffed. So Belle puffed faster. She hoped she could get to the field before the crows. When she got there, she could see that the crows had beaten her. The farm workers were trying to shoo away the crows, but the more they shooed away, the more they kept coming back. Farmer McColl was very worried. "They'll eat all my seeds," he groaned. Then Belle looked at the field again and noticed something was missing.
"Don't you have a scarecrow?"
she asked. "Yes, I do, but it's only just been repaired," explained Farmer McColl. "But how can I get it back to the field through the crows?" Belle wasn't sure what to think. But then she had an idea.
"Leave it to me,"
she smiled. She took a deep breath and then blew a large cloud of steam into the field. Steam flew into the field. The workers ran clear. The crows couldn't see a thing, so they flew high into the sky to escape the steam. Everyone watched as the crows flew away into the distance. Farmer McColl was surprised. "Belle, that was amazing," he said. "You saved my seeds."
"My pleasure, sir,"
smiled Belle.
"I've also brought you your straw."
"We can help you unload it," said the driver. Farmer McColl agreed. So while the workers took the scarecrow to the field, Belle's driver and fireman helped to unload the straw from the trucks. When the straw was unloaded, Belle's crew climbed back into her cab. "Thank you for your help, Belle," said Farmer McColl. "Maybe you should be my scarecrow for the day." Belle chuckled at this.
"No, thank you, sir,"
said Belle.
"Steam engines can't be scarecrows."
Belle's driver and fireman agreed. "We must go," called the fireman. "We can't be late." "Goodbye, Belle," smiled Farmer McColl, "and thanks again." Belle blew her whistle and puffed happily away. Farmer McColl and the workers waved as Belle puffed away into the distance. Belle puffed along the line feeling very pleased with herself. She thought she had been a very helpful engine.
"Wait until the other engines hear about this,"
she thought to herself. Belle puffed into Tidmouth Yards and towards the sheds. She could hear her friends talking behind the trucks. Then she puffed into view of her friends and blew her whistle happily.
"Hello, everyone,"
she beamed.
"Hello, Belle,"
whistled Percy. "You look pleased about something," smiled Toby.
"Wait until you've heard my story,"
said Belle. Belle told the engines all about her idea to get rid of the crows away from Farmer McColl's field. The engines were impressed.
"That's amazing, Belle,"
smiled Emily.
"That was a great idea."
"The Fat Controller will be pleased to hear about this," put in Thomas.
"You'd be a great scarecrow,"
said Percy. "If you could scare away crows," added Toby, "you could be a scarecrow engine." Belle laughed. She knew her friends were having a joke. But Murdoch wasn't impressed at all. Any engine can scare away crows, he snorted. You just got lucky. Belle looked at Murdoch.
No, I didn't, huffed Belle. I did a great job.
We engines are bigger than crows, Murdoch went on. Crows are easily scared by engines.
Can you scare crows?
Glared Belle. She gave Murdoch a look and a half. Me? Scoffed Murdoch. Of course I can. If I ever saw a crow or two, I'd just blow steam right in their faces.
Rubbish,
huffed Emily.
You've never scared a crow once.
Murdoch was cross. He didn't like being made to look silly. I'll show you I can scare away crows, he wished. I have to collect my goods train. I'll show you that I can do a good job scaring crows. And Murdoch puffed out to Timber's sheds before anyone could answer. Belle just scowled at Murdoch. She thought he was being a very silly engine.
Take no notice of Murdoch, soothed Thomas. He's just full of puff, agreed Emily.
Belle agreed, but she wished that Murdoch wouldn't be so boastful. Murdoch puffed into Knapford Yards to collect his trucks. He was to take them to the wharf. As he was being coupled up, the foreman came to see him. You must take the country track, he said. The other route is closed for repairs. This made Murdoch very happy. Now I can show Belle that I can scare away crows, he said to himself. The guards blew his whistle and Murdoch gave a whish of steam. Let's go, Murdoch, called his driver. The wharf is waiting for this train. Yes, sir, said Murdoch. Murdoch took a deep breath and then he pulled his train out of the yards. The foreman waved goodbye as the trucks rattled and clattered behind. Murdoch raced along the main line. He felt very proud of himself. Beep, beep, he whistled. What a trip this will be. As he reached the junction, the signalman changed the point and Murdoch puffed onto the country track. His driver was worried as he checked the controls. Take it steady, Murdoch, he called. You don't need to puff so fast. The all your coal needs to last us a while, added the fireman. I'll be fine, chuffed Murdoch. Don't worry. Murdoch was keeping a lookout for some crows. He looked left and then right. He grumbled. There must be some crows around here somewhere, he thought to himself. Up ahead, Terence the Tractor was in a field close to the line. But some crows were stopping him from doing some work. They flew around the field and upset the farmer. Bother these crows, groaned Terence. I wish these crows would just go away. Murdoch saw the crows up ahead and a smile appeared on his face. Now's my chance to show how good I am at scaring crows, he puffed cheekily. Murdoch's driver put a hand on his brake. Steady, he called. You don't want to break down. But before Murdoch could reply back, there was a sudden loud noise. Murdoch gasped when he heard the noise. Whoa, boy! Shouted Murdoch's driver. He applied the brakes as hard as he could. Murdoch went slower and slower. Then at last he stopped. Terence was surprised to see Murdoch. What was that? Gasped Murdoch. Your safety valve has burst, called his driver. We're stuck! Oh no, groaned Murdoch. Now what? I'm going to be late. Don't worry, called the farmer. I'll go and get help. And the farmer went to his home to telephone for help. Murdoch's driver shut off steam and his fireman put out his fire. Now you've done it, fumed his driver. I told you to take it steady. Now we're going to need to fix you up before you can work again. I'm sorry, sir, sighed Murdoch sadly. So you should be, added his driver. Let's hope another engine can help you. But Murdoch wasn't sure. He thought no one would help him after his silly boasting. He then looked and saw the crows sitting on the fence next to him. They cawed and flapped their wings. This made Murdoch feel silly. Meanwhile, Belle was having a nice long drink. She had been busy shunting lots of trucks around the yards. All the hard work had made her thirsty. Then the yard manager raced over to her. Murdoch has broken down, he explained. Belle, you must go and help him. Belle was surprised to hear this. Then she smiled just a little bit.
That'll teach him,
she thought to herself. Come on, Belle, called her driver. We must help Murdoch in his train.
Yes, sir,
replied Belle. And Belle puffed away to the rescue. At the field, Murdoch was still unhappy. Terence was looking at the crows. He was surprised to see them around Murdoch. My, he chuckled. You certainly have a way with crows. Murdoch didn't think this was funny at all. Some crows were on his boiler and some were standing around him on the ground. Go away, shouted Murdoch. Go on, shoo! But the crows didn't go away. They didn't move a muscle. Murdoch wanted to blow steam at them, but as he had no steam at all, he couldn't. The driver and fireman were in his cab, keeping shelter from the crows. I hope help comes soon, moaned the fireman. I cannot stand these crows. They nearly took my flask, agreed the driver. My wife only made it for me this morning. Where's help? Groaned Murdoch. I don't like this at all. Then he heard a whistle coming from behind. Murdoch looked and he couldn't believe who it was. It was Belle. She puffed alongside, trying not to laugh.
Burst my buffers, she giggled. What's happened here?
He burst his safety valve, explained Terence, but he's done a good job keeping the crows away from the field. Belle looked and saw the crows on Murdoch's boiler.
I thought you were good at scaring crows,
teased Belle. Murdoch didn't answer. He felt very silly.
I'll shunt you into the siding and then take your train,
said Belle. We'll have to hurry, said her driver. The train is very late. Belle blew a very loud whistle to shoo away the crows. The crows jumped at the sound and then flew into the air. Terence was impressed. Well done, Belle, he cheered. Belle shunted Murdoch into the siding. Then she went back to the train and was coupled up.
I'll come back for you,
replied Belle. She whistled goodbye and then puffed away. Murdoch watched as Belle and the goods train disappeared into the distance. He began to regret boasting to the other engines now. Belle raced as fast as she could along the line to the wharf. It was a long way, but she was determined to make up for lost time.
I must hurry,
she puffed. Steady, Belle, cautioned her driver. We don't want you to break down as well. Belle knew her driver was right, so she puffed steadily and carefully.
We may arrive late. At least the train will arrive safely,
she puffed. At last, Belle arrived at the wharf. She pulled into the platform where Skarloey and Rheneas were waiting.
Sorry we're late,
panted Belle. Don't worry, said Skarloey. You're here now and that's the main thing. Better late than never, put in Rheneas. Belle was relieved that the little engines weren't cross. Now the delivery could be sorted out and shunted into the wagons Skarloey and Rheneas had ready. Belle was uncoupled from the train and she whistled goodbye. Goodbye, whistled Skarloey and Rheneas together. That evening, Murdoch returned home after having his safety valve fixed. His story was there before him, of course. The engines couldn't help but laugh at what happened. What's this I hear about you attracting crows? Asked Toby.
I thought you were good at scaring crows,
snickered Emily. Murdoch felt even sillier than before.
Serves you right for boasting your boiler off,
smiled Belle. Then the Fat Controller arrived. He was very pleased with Belle. Belle was surprised to see Farmer McColl with him. Now then, Belle, I hear that you were very helpful to Farmer McColl today, said the Fat Controller. Scaring away crows so he could get his scarecrow back into his field. You were indeed a hero to me and the workers, agreed Farmer McColl. Belle's cheeks blushed with pride. She felt very proud.
Thank you, sir, she answered. You're a really useful engine, Belle, puffed Thomas. And a heroic one too, agreed Percy. All of the engines agreed. Then the Fat Controller turned to Murdoch. I think you need to keep your speed under control, he said sternly. I think a couple of days in the shed should help you learn your lesson. Yes, sir, sighed Murdoch. Then Belle saw a chance to be cheeky.
Don't worry, Murdoch,
she grinned.
You won't be lonely. I'm sure there will be a few crows in the sky that will come down to keep you company.
All the engines laughed and laughed. The Fat Controller and Farmer McColl gave a chuckle too. Murdoch just sulked, and Belle let out the happiest whistle ever.